one country, two systems. He pointed out the top priority for Hong Kong is to end violence and restore order. We'll continue to firmly support ICAR government under the leadership of Chief Executive in governing Hong Kong in accordance with law. We'll firmly support Hong Kong police in strict and rigorous enforcement of law. We'll firmly support the judicial institutions of Hong Kong in bringing violent offenders to justice in accordance with law. He further emphasized the Chinese government remains unwavering in its determination to safeguard China's national sovereignty, security, and development interests. Implement one country, two systems, and oppose any interference from external forces in Hong Kong affairs. This important statement is the most authoritative voice from the central government of China on current situation in Hong Kong and the future of Hong Kong. Every word carries weight. First, President Xi Jinping's speech reveals the nature and severe consequences of the extreme violent offenses. The current situation in Hong Kong has nothing to do with the so-called democracy or freedom. The nature of the issue is that extreme violent offenders have disrupted law and order in Hong Kong, attempted to destabilize Hong Kong and undermine one country, two systems. Their activities are extreme, violent, and illegal. The extreme violent offenses have trampled on the rule of law and disrupted public order in Hong Kong. For the past 5 months, the self-labeled peaceful protesters have resorted to senseless beating, smashing, and arson. They have carried out premeditated attacks against police officers and failed assassination of a member of Legislative Council. They have turned many universities into their strongholds and besieged and attacked students from Chinese mainland. While claiming they stand with the weak, the rioters have discriminately hurt ordinary citizens and even doused a citizen who opposed their vandalism with inflammable liquid and set fire to him. While claiming they safeguard democracy and freedom, the rioters have restricted or even deprived others of personal freedom and freedom of speech. Such inhuman, murderous violence in broad daylight trampled on the bottom line of law, morality, and civilization, and must not be tolerated. The anti-China extremists have also taken such violence abroad and into the UK. Some of them, wearing black masks, created trouble in front of the embassy, Chinese embassy in the UK. They defaced the embassy gate, painted Hong Kong independence slogan on both sides of the gate. Some besieged the Secretary for Justice of Hong Kong SAR, who was invited to an event in London. She was pushed to the ground and sustained arm injury. We expressed strong indignation and strong condemnation over these violent acts. The extreme violent offences have severely undermined the prosperity and stability in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is known for its free and open economy, inclusive and diverse culture, professional and efficient management, and law-abiding and safe society. But today, Hong Kong citizens live under black terror created by violent extremists, with their life and property under severe threat. Hong Kong's GDP, after contracting for 2 quarters in a row, shrunk by 2.9% year-on-year in the third quarter. It is now in a technical recession. The Office of Government Economist of Hong Kong SAR revised down its forecast for the full year growth to negative 1.3%. Hong Kong's international rating has been downgraded. Its international image, business environment were under severe impact. In media reports, Hong Kong is now associated with incessant violence and disorder. The success and achievements of the past 22 years since the handover are being eroded. The once oriental pearl is turning into an oriental sky. Hong Kong, the fragrant harbor, is sliding into an abyss of chaos. The future of Hong Kong, if such situation continues, would be unimaginable, dreadful. The extreme violent offenses have challenged the principal bottom line of one country, two systems. The opposition and violent extremists in Hong Kong have advocated Hong Kong independence and publicly clamor for the liberation of Hong Kong. This reveals their true sinister political agenda behind the so-called social appeals. They are actually aimed at undermining one country, which is the basis of one country, two systems. They attempt to stabilize Hong Kong and paralyze SAR government so that they could seize administrative power and separate Hong Kong from the motherland. One country, two systems is one complete concept. One country is the precondition and the basis of two systems. Without one country, two systems will no longer exist. Violent offenses that undermine one country, two systems will never be tolerated. Second, President Xi Jinping's speech points out a way out for ending the chaos in Hong Kong. Namely, the top priority of Hong Kong is to end violence and restore order. The basic requirement of rule of law is that laws must be observed and offenders must be brought to justice. No society would in any way tolerate or indulge extreme violence. To restore law and order, violence must end, and the violent perpetrators must be brought to justice. This is the only way to safeguard the interests of the public and secure a better future for Hong Kong and cement the foundation of one country, two systems. The SAR government, the police and judicial institutions of Hong Kong should be given strong support in upholding rule of law and in taking forceful measures to curb and combat all types of violent offences and terrorist activities. We firmly support them in bringing the offenders to justice as soon as possible and in safeguarding the rule of law and public order so as to bring stability to Hong Kong and tranquility to the people. Third, President Xi Jinping's speech demonstrates the strong determination of the Chinese government to safeguard national security, national sovereignty and development interests and implement one country, two systems. At the fourth plenary session of the 19th Central Committee of Communist Party of China concluded last month, it was reiterated that the one country, two systems is an important policy of Communist Party of China in leading the Chinese people to realize the peaceful reunification of the motherland. The Chinese government will continue to implement fully and faithfully one country, two systems, Hong Kong people administering Hong Kong and high degree of autonomy. For this formula to work in Hong Kong, there are three bottom lines, namely, no tolerance for any activity that, one, undermines national sovereignty and security, two, challenges the authority of the central government or the basic law, and three, uses Hong Kong for infiltration or sabotage against the Chinese mainland. At the same time, the Chinese government will improve the system of overall jurisdiction over Hong Kong in accordance with the Constitution and basic law. Will also improve the arrangements for Hong Kong to integrate into the overall development of the country, match complementary strength with the mainland, and achieve coordinated development. And we will work to address deep-seated problems hampering social stability and long-term development. Fourth, President Xi Jinping's speech shows the firm resolve of the Chinese government to oppose external interference in Hong Kong's affairs. External forces that have indulged and fanned violence in Hong Kong cannot absolve themselves of the responsibility for the recent escalation of violence in Hong Kong. They confuse right and wrong and refer to the extreme violent offenders as peaceful demonstrators and pro-democracy protesters. At the same time, they are piling blames on Hong Kong police who are performing their duty, safeguarding rule of law and protecting the safety of life and property of Hong Kong citizens. Some Western countries have publicly supported extreme violent offenders. The US House of Representatives adopted the so-called Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act to blatantly interfere in Hong Kong affairs, which are China's internal affairs. The British government and Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Commons published China-related reports making irresponsible remarks on Hong Kong. What is worse, certain British politicians even planned to present an award to a chief propagandist for Hong Kong independence and who has instigated extreme violence. To those who question external interference in Hong Kong affairs, aren't these facts enough to address their doubt? We would like to tell these external forces solemnly that the Chinese government remains unwavering in its resolve to oppose any external interference in Hong Kong affairs. We urge these forces to immediately stop any form of interference in Hong Kong affairs and China's internal affairs, and immediately stop condoning violent offenses. Otherwise, they would lift the stone only to drop it on their own feet, like we did last time during the last press conference.